Whoa, two-parters in 2 weeks. This is, I am zooming towards 10 subscribers, and I am telling you, life is good, guys. And this is part 2 of my conspiracy special. Try to insert some creepy music right there. I'll get some music eventually, don't worry. You know, as my production costs soar, you know, you can see my craft services. Oh, dude, got some booze. Anyhow, let's get into part 2. Nuclear weapons. Well, y'all, I hate to burst your bubble. They don't exist. What, you say? Nuclear weapons don't exist? Of course, you're fucking nuts. Of course they exist. You're crazy. This is even a worse idea than your stupid moon landing theory, Jesse. What the? You call yourself a savaging beast. You're nothing. I'm nothing. Am I talking to me? Talking to you? Am I? No. I'm talking to myself, or a camera, which is talking to me. Yeah, it makes about as much sense as nuclear bombs. I remember when I was a kid and they were telling me about nuclear weapons and how them Russians got these other nukes and they're going to blow this up. And we got to be able to blow them up first. And there's mutually assured destruction. And have you heard of the dead man's hand? The dead man's hand! That's what that means. Is we blows them up. Even if we blows them up first, they can come back and blows us up too. So we got to be able to blows them up more. More blows them up than they can blows us up. Faster, better, more expensive. Blows up bigger. Megatons. Not 1 megaton, 50 megatons. We need 50 billion megatons so we can blows them up and blow the whole side of the earth off. And you know what? God damn it. I hate having all these nuclear weapons with nothing to do with them. Let's blow up the moon. There was a comedy skit in the 1990s on one of my favorite shows of all time. Maybe you're familiar with Mr. Show. One of my favorite Mr. Show skits of all time is the America blows up the moon. This 4th of July, America blows up the moon. Now, it sounds like a hilarious joke, but I'm telling you, it was based on some real shit. And I'm guessing the only thing that actually stopped them from blowing up the moon was the fact that we couldn't actually do it. Mostly because of limitations in technology. I'm guessing that the psychos that wanted to do it, they were actually they were drinking their own Kool-Aid and believing that we had landed people on the moon, and they believed that we had viable nuclear weapons that would be safe to actually transport all the way to the moon and detonate on the moon and not have it cause any kind of side effects which would destroy all of life on Earth. They probably thought that was possible just to show them commie Ruskies a damn lesson. We got to teach them a lesson, otherwise these going to crush us. They can barely wipe their own asses. Communism, Russian communism was, I mean, the propaganda they sent to us was, it had us believing all kinds of shit, including the fact that they had nukes. Of course, we'd have to admit that nukes didn't exist in order to prove that they didn't have them either. And a lot of stuff was done to make it seem like nukes are real. So let me go back to the beginning. Excuse me. I'm not saying the technology for nuclear weapons doesn't exist. It does exist. I'm sure it does. We've created all kinds of terrible things on this planet. Have we detonated a nuclear weapon on planet Earth? Probably. Maybe. I don't know. What about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Yeah, well, go look at pictures of Dresden, where we carpet bombed everything. I'm actually pretty sure, people say Dresden doesn't make any sense. Why did we do this? Why did we destroy this part of Germany that didn't make weapons and wasn't really a military target? Well, I think it was a test run. I think we were testing out our carpet bombing skills to make it look like we detonated a nuke. people didn't have the kind of connectivity back then that we have now. They had long-range radios, but there was no long-range video. There was a lot of shit you could fake by saying one thing and then showing something to kind of semi-back it up. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we wiped... all right. What's the one thing they talk about with nuclear weapons that's supposedly the worst part of nuclear weapons? It's what they call fallout. It's the radioactivity that doesn't go away, that's around for thousands, tens of thousands, even millions of years. They talk about radioactivity and half-lives and all this shit. Well, it's only been, 70 years? Not even 80 years? Yeah, since... Hiroshima and Nagasaki, supposedly that happened in 1945. Well, those places are fine now. There's no, there were definitely people injured. Don't get me wrong. There were people massively fucked up in that military campaign. And I'm sure we carpet bomb shit to such a degree that, yeah, it did make it seem like our fantastical fantasy stories of these nuclear weapons. But I just don't see it. And here's why. I'm proposing a what that you might not have ever thought about. Let me give you a why, and that might help you kind of think that I'm not totally full of shit. Maybe I am. That's what the comment section is for. This is what reaction videos are for. Tell me how much full of shit I am and why, please. So, I think greed. Plain and simple, I think greed is where all of these nuclear weapons and shit come from, and not just greed, but the way the governments of our world, try to develop the concept of problem, reaction, solution. Now, if you've never heard this before, it's very simple. The government comes up with all three, and the purpose of this is to justify their own existence. Think of 9/11. You got a problem. Terrorism. They blowed up our towers. We got to react. How do we react? The Patriot Act. Oh, let's bomb Iraq. Oh, let's invade Afghanistan. Oh, what's the solution? Endless fucking war on terror, baby. We had it all ready to go. Problem, reaction, and solution all together in one milkshake. God damn it. Money. Greed. Tell me something. How many nuclear wars have we had? 0. Let's ignore Hiroshima and Nagasaki just for the sake of argument. There have been 0 nuclear wars. How many other weapons that we've developed have the megalomaniacs in power been able to keep their hands off of? The answer is probably close to none. Even the Moabs, mother of all bombs. Even, planes and missiles and laser beams and LRADs and blah, 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 blah. They've tried them all out. They have never tried out a nuke. Not in a skirmish. Like, the whole idea of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki was, that we had the technology and they didn't. And the whole idea was we would use it before they could develop their own and kind of wipe them out. Blah, 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 blah. I think that Hiroshima and Nagasaki were just a giant fucking commercial for an endless money pit. An endless money pit of missiles being bought. Empty fucking missiles. Oh, we need warheads. Oh, we got 10. We need 100 more. We need 1,000 more. We need 100,000. Oh, we got to build all these underground bases. Oh, we need missile silos. And yeah, we definitely built missiles. We definitely built silos. We definitely built infrastructures. The thing is, people don't understand the science of this stuff. Nuclear technology is very fragile. Look at what's happened in completely controlled environments. We've had incidents happen in nuclear power plants where they're just trying to do this tiny little thing, I mean, compared to the megaton size of a nuclear weapon, the amount of, excuse me, the amount of energy they're trying to suss out of a nuclear reaction in a nuclear power plant is infinitesimal compared to the size of what they're trying to accomplish with a bomb. Well, does it really make sense that they can take that technology, which is horribly unstable and is difficult to control, even in these giant concrete, massive complexes? It's difficult to control even in that environment. They really think that we can put this thing on the tip of a missile and shoot it all the way across the world and have it successfully blow up in the right place at the right time? Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, I'm sure at some point we'll figure out how to do this and we'll blow ourselves up just fine. But as of right now, I don't think the technology even still exists. Not the nuclear technology. Nuclear technology is incredibly fragile. That's one. So I don't think it's possible to even do it. Now, if you want to look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those were bombs that were loaded onto an airplane and literally dropped. They weren't fired. They weren't whatever. I mean, so maybe they were real. That's a more realistic vector of having this fragile thing and then just dropping it out of the bottom of an airplane and having it blow up in the air before it hits the ground. Maybe. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think that happened. I still think that's a giant fairy tale. But think about the greed angle. Think about how many decades politicians were able to get money from the taxpayer and they were able to spend that money on empty fucking hollow missiles that they could show off on TV, stuff most of the money in their own pockets and the pockets of all their buddies, and not actually deliver the nuclear technology. And they could compartmentalize this in such a way where nobody would really know except them. And, they've got naked pictures of them diddling kids, so they're not going to tell anybody because they've got shit they're holding over their heads. And they've got tons of money they've made off of it, so why would they want to tell anybody anyway? And, you're allowed to do this in such a way where it creates like this hero-villain kind of thing, too. And, we have to do it because the bad guys over in Russia are doing it. We don't want to. I mean, yeah, nuclear stuff is horrible and evil, and we don't want to play that game, but we fucking got to, guys, because the evil out there, they're doing it too. And fucking Russians didn't have any money for that shit. Communism does not create wealth. Communism destroys wealth. And Russia was a giant paper tiger that we built up. I mean, Russia basically was like a bunch of locusts that started small in the edge of Europe and spread out and sucked up natural resources and sucked up other people's, wealth and sucked up everybody's fucking hope and dreams, and that communism spread and spread and spread. And then one little fucking accident in one of their little nuclear power plants and poof, they're fucking done. The Russians didn't have any fucking missiles. They had giant fucking parades. And would you really have a parade with a nuclear weapon? That fragile thing that you're relying on to protect you from destruction, you're gonna fucking wheel it out and put it in a place where your enemy could just blow it up in front of millions of your own people cheering in the streets. None of these parades were ever attacked, or there's no subterfuge where anybody got assassinated or killed or even attacked in any of these things. No, because the propaganda said let them have their little fucking parades and we'll show their parades on our TV and people will get so angry. Oh, look at these powerful fucking communists. Communism is so powerful. No, mostly they just starved people to death, stole their shit, moved on. And when they ran out of people to fucking steal from, communism in Russia just fucking died. And it took, 20 years of Russia actually developing wealth before they're still tiny players. Like, see, that's the thing that kind of blows the mind is they've had some form of crony capitalism now for what, 30 years, and they're still tiny players in the world, and yet somehow 70 years of communism gave the illusion that they were these giant superpowers. Just the fact that they called them a superpower, it just kind of makes me laugh, because they were nothing. Remove the nukes from Russia, and what the fuck did they have? Nothing. And they were just the excuse for us to have our own nukes. See how that works? You got this imaginary enemy with imaginary weapons, and it gives you an excuse to have an imaginary weapon to fight back, but you're never going to fire them off, because they're never going to fire them off, because mutually assured destruction. Oh, we'll make Hollywood movies about this stuff. We'll have espionage stories. You know, we'll do all kinds of stuff. Hollywood will play along and blah, 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 blah. There's nothing. It's all a bunch of horse shit. There's my conspiracy theory on fucking nukes. They don't exist. Outside of a lab, no. Yeah, the technology, yeah, it probably exists. Maintaining that technology, like, all right, so just imagine I'm totally full of shit and I have no idea what I'm talking about. The fragility of nuclear technology is very real, and you can look that up. Even the way that they tell us things are, they admit how fragile that is in maintaining these weapons. So let's just assume that we have warheads that have been around since the 50s or 60s, and they've been maintaining them all this time. You know the expense that it takes to maintain these weapons and keep them viable? You know, the nuclear materials are highly, highly volatile. They have, you know, part of what makes that technology work, in theory, is the volatility. You couldn't have a nuclear warhead sit in storage for decades. It wouldn't work. It would degrade. It would fall apart. It would destroy everything around it. The containers that it's in would be destroyed. The people that are monitoring it would get cancer and die. You know, it's just a bunch of horseshit, you guys. Seriously, nukes aren't real. Fuck nukes. And I don't think it really even matters anymore. You know, they talk about it. I mean, who's got nuclear technology now? Fucking Pakistan? You don't think those nutcases don't want to fire off a fucking nuke? They would, if they really had it. Anyway, whatever. Hey, y'all. I'm not angry. Just get a little frustrated with people's lack of understanding of just basic scientific concepts and fear. The real war is fear. And I'm going to keep coming back to that again and again. Nukes are fear. And that's all they are. That's the war. All right, y'all. I love you, and I mean it, and I will see you again on the next video. Thanks.